Welcome to Rich Thoughts, Poor Jokes, the podcast where meaningful conversations about mental wealth meet a healthy dose of humor. Each week, your hosts, Dr. Roxy Riefkohl-Cook and Dr. Stephanie Ellis, two of Houston's most respected doctors of counseling and psychology, coach you on the path to mental wealth. They will not just inspire, but entertain you while empowering you to elevate your life.
Welcome back to Rich Thoughts, Poor Jokes. So we're going to jump back in today talking about self-care. Self-care wealth. So we titled today's episode, If You Were Your Own Best Friend. And we did that. Do you remember why we did that? Because this was your title and it was brilliant. Do you remember why?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'll remind you, it's because we said, when you think about self-care, we'd really like for you to be thinking about what you would do, what kind of care and compassion and self-compassion would you give to the level that you would give someone else, like a friend.
Oh, because we're not good to ourselves.
That.
Yeah. And maybe that's why we're having this whole series. What's the title again?
If you were, no. What was it? If you were your own best friend.
I want to also alternate title. If you were your own best bro. And here's why, because you and I got talking about pedicures and juice cleanses, and we spent all of last week talking like we were talking to women.
Yes.
And we're not just talking to women. And I just want to put that out there. And a lot of people, women included, but I think certainly also men might struggle with some of the terminology, care and compassion and nurturing and nourishing and that kind of stuff. So put that out there. Also your best bro. We're going to do a better job today and moving forward of trying to keep that balanced, right?
Yes. And we said that if there is another term, one of the things that that you might want to call this is self-support, self-care support. Or self-support.
I don't even hate if we said something like self-strengthening.
That's good.
Just because one of the really big components that we talk about with self-care is resilience. So
I love that.
All right. So any of those words are okay. And if self-care sounds like to you, like you don't have to use that word with yourself. You can use a word that means the thing that we are saying that feels good to you.
Yes. And we are going to do a better job, try to give examples that are not just one gender based.
Also, dudes can get petties.
Absolutely.
That's the thing too. It's 2025, bro. You want a petty, you go get yourself one.
Absolutely. And when, not naming any names, but when you're in bed with someone and their foot comes and wants to touch your leg, and it cuts you.
Oh,
So
their
toenail.
Relational self-care is where we are, and we said that last time. We said the different kinds of self-care, they support each other. So,
by the way, that could be a female too. So,
absolutely,
scrub-a-dub-dub. Okay. So we shared in the first episode that really you need to look within and define self-care yourself. And so in this episode, we're going to really try to ask people as you're doing that and you're defining that to look inner and to look within. And so we're going to start with self-awareness, which, by the way, we've started with that every time
we've started something.
We have. And it's because it's profound and it's ideal. And you don't know what to do or what to change until you are aware of what that is. And so first step, I would say in relation to this is look at your own core values and your needs. Self-awareness. Like, what is it that you value? What is it that you need? And it definitely can be different than what someone else needs. And that's hard because when we watch things specifically on social media, on TikTok and so forth, and you see people selling all these products and so forth, and you're like, that's what I need, right? Because that looks like if I'm doing that, I'm taking care of myself.
The marketing too has to hit you really hard in the nervous system to get you to buy in or to click through.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you might need something or the fear that you might not be okay without it, that's a lot of marketing.
Yes.
So that's here today. We're not selling you anything.
Not.
So we can say, you look inside.
Figure this out for yourself, not just because it was marketed beautifully.
Do you want to give some examples of things that people might value, though? Or I just don't want us to be too esoteric.
Yes. Go.
No. Did you want to do that?
Oh. Yes. If I value, if my entity is my health and I value my health, then I might fall heavier into my sleep patterns, making sure that I'm eating healthy most of the time, that kind of thing. So if I value my body and my inner workings and my, what my anatomy is all about, can and can't do, then I might really focus on the physical stuff.
Okay. So the body and its functioning.
Yes.
That might be a value.
Yes.
Relationships, various relationships might be a value.
Mm-hmm.
Time might be a value.
Yes.
Existential concerns as I get into my therapist mode now as I get halfway through my first cup of coffee.
Yes.
I was thinking something else. Oh, comfort. I guess I was thinking that and then not wanting to say it.
Yes.
Comfort.
Example.
Comfort might be a value. I mean, if I have the option, I'd rather be comfortable than not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that doesn't work. And I think one of the reasons I want us to talk about values and start putting them out there is because there is absolutely no way to function in the world without a values hierarchy. And it's better to know we're doing that than pretend that we're not doing it. So I was talking to one of my kids, and they were describing a friend that they have, and they've been talking about this friend a lot. And I said, it sounds like this person is climbing the friend ladder. And that was a little uncomfortable to say. A friend ladder is a real thing, but it is.
Yes.
It's a real thing, and don't pretend we don't have it. Mm-hmm. So that for a values hierarchy too, sometimes your values are going to be in conflict. And without a values hierarchy, you just get stuck. There's no way to move forward unless you could put one of them in front of the other. And so if comfort is a value that I have, but also, a long-term committed relationship is a value that I have, which one of those am I going to, with self-awareness, put in front of the other today or right now today? Okay.
Beautifully stated.
I
really like that example. Why did my brain take me to which rung on the ladder am I for you?
You should not have any confusion about where you are on the ladder.
I don't. It was just, yeah. Okay. Good lead in is this idea of if you value, and you really can, and you have this value of making sure that you are not strung out, stressed. We've talked about that in earlier episodes, but we also need to look at not just the things that we value and things we need, but the things that we don't need. And so self-awareness about what stresses you out, right? Personally, I'll give an example. Having to get all made up 7 days a week stresses me out. And so I have this self-care thing that I do, and it's called a no makeup day.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're really high on my friendship ladder, but I did not know that about you. I swear, I think you just get up this way.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh, what was the show that I loved? The Maisel show, the Marvelous Miss Maisel. And so, because it was based back earlier times, and she would get up really early and do her makeup and then put her, fancy gown back on and then lay in the bed before her husband woke up or whatever, like that. No, that's not me. So this no makeup thing is a real thing. And if I don't get it, I notice it. And because it's not just not putting makeup on. I mean, that's a piece of it, but it's representation of meaning that there won't be a lot of possible meetings or interactions that I have to do or, that kind of thing. It gives me permission to just be.
And this isn't what you said, but I thought you were going to say that you're allowed to live an entire day in the world without makeup on, and you don't lose your value as a person.
For sure.
That's nice.
It is very nice. That took me many years, though, to get to. Therapy.
Oh, it's the therapy plug.
Right. Therapy, that it is okay to go to HEB without makeup on. Okay. Moving on to, here's a good one. It goes with this, all the stuff we were just talking about, and we're going to get into this later, but your ability to set boundaries. You have to have self-awareness about that level.
Okay, yeah, let's put off the boundaries for a minute. Can I go back to the thing about stress?
Yes.
Please. Do you need to know what stresses you out? Mm-hmm. That's two questions that I feel like we should parse out for listeners, because a stressor is the thing in the world that makes stress happen in your body, but stress is just a process that's happening in your body. And so it's good to know both of those. So what things get my stress response lit up? And your stress response, by the way, is your body doesn't do that many things. One of the things it does as a stress response, it does that almost exactly the same way for an exciting college football game as it does for a terrible, terrible work meeting you're not looking forward to. It's just your body trying to give you energy to do these things on your values hierarchy. But the reason I think it's important to do both, one, to know the things in the world that are stressors for you, and then two, to know what stress feels like in your body, is because they don't always match up. It's not like now the meeting's over and so my body's completely fine. You might have lingering stress in the body, and that's a good time for self-care. Yes. So self-awareness about values, self-awareness about stressors, self-awareness about stress in the body, self-awareness about stuff we don't need.
Right.
And stuff we do need.
And one last one, self-awareness about your ability or inability to communicate these things, not just to others, but to yourself as well. Go back and listen to our communication episodes. Okay, so self-care is not selfish. Selfishness is
not self-care.
That's it.
Self-care isn't selfish. Mm-hmm. And also selfishness is not self-care. So I think we get into that more.
We do.
Right?
We do. Okay, so one other piece that while we're talking about self-awareness, we need to talk specifically about self-compassion. And I'm going to go back to an author that I think really speaks eloquently about all of these areas. And that is Dr. Pooja Lakshmin. And she, within her book about self-care, talks a lot about self-compassion. And she speaks about this ouch factor. And she says that you need to try really hard to catch yourself when you have a negative thought or you speak negatively about yourself. And you need to say out loud, ouch, and then reframe and speak more compassionately to yourself. And so these are huge things that should be occurring prior to, because you may be able to do these short-term self-care things that we've talked about, but if you want this to be a part of your life and your world and your forever and long-term stuff, you have to have these inner workings, the self-awareness, the self-compassion.
And the language that we use to talk to other people and ourselves really does matter. And while you're saying that, I'm going to tell you something that I don't think that you know about me, but it's a good example. And so I'll just say it for the listeners because it's good. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that you don't sometimes scold yourself or change your direction or have something to say that needs correction to yourself. And I think it's worthwhile to have names that you call yourself that are like, okay. And so when things are going well and I want to say something nice to myself, I call myself Dollface, which is like probably not even a 2025 okay thing to say, but I do. And when I'm doing something that I think needs correction, I call myself Dingbat. And it's not, but I'm not being, I'm not being nasty. It's like to me, inside me, that feels okay. It feels like sort of sweet and corrective and cute enough that it's not
shaming.
Yeah.
I did not know this, but I'm really curious. And now but I mean, what a cool thing to do and adopt. So that, again, you're, it's corrective, but it's not nasty. Okay, Dollface.
Oh, gosh.
This is going to be a thing, I think.
Do not make me regret this.
This is going to be a thing. I like it. Aw, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so, and Dr. Lakshmin, she goes on in her book talking about all this internal stuff and how we want to make this deeply personal. We want it to be intentional about our practices, how we do speak to ourselves. Another person that comes to mind as we're talking about self-compassion is Kristin Neff. And her
hands down goddess
guru
researcher
absolutely
of
self-compassion. So if you don't know her,
check her out. She's got a book, which I think is called Self-Compassion.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. And she's a website, and her website has a lot of free tools on it. If self-compassion is something that you are struggling with or want to learn more about, that's a good sort of free resource for you. That's another one of those words that sometimes gets people. And I think that might be because maybe we don't know exactly what compassion is, but functionally it is just saying you are a person of value and to other people too, right? And so you deserve to be treated like a human and not like an object or like a machine. So when we talk about valuing self, you're not, and it bothers me because we have a lot of metaphors and stuff that we use in the world about our brains are like computers or like my body's like a car and I have to take care of its engine and stuff like that. But I do not like when we use metaphors for people that are of machines. So that is maybe literally dehumanizing. And so you are an organic system. So you're an ecosystem. You're a forest. You're a something, but you're not a car.
And what about a cell phone? What the visual I get when you're saying that?
You are not a cell phone.
No, seriously, it's the
crown jewel number 17.
It's the one about the cell phone, and you see the battery going down, and it's saying if this is you need to do something.
And I do get the utility of it, and I probably would not correct a client who already had that kind of language battery. I would probably just join them where they are and use that language. But I also think there's something not okay in that because you're a system. It's right. So if you were
just have a battery pack.
If you were just a cell phone, then yes, you would get up in the morning and as the day went on, your energy would just go down and down and down and down. And that's not actually how people function.
Right.
So your adenosine goes up and up and up and up and drives your sleepiness over the course of the day. Although if you drink coffee, it blocks that. But that's kind of the only way that even begins to make sense. And probably I know you've had this experience. Probably all of y'all have had this experience is you're feeling dragging and then something happens, right? You take a walk outside or you have a 5-minute conversation with a friend and you feel more energy. So that's not how batteries work.
Right.
Right. So you're a system and you can, and your system is more complex than that, I think is just what I'm getting at, which feels okay to me on today when we're talking about self-awareness.
Excellent. Beautifully stated. Okay. So differences in self-compassion or self-care with self-compassion versus self-indulgence. And I'm just going to sum it up, and then I'd love for you to add to this. But when I think about that, I think of real self-compassion, where you've spent a minute figuring things out for yourself. That's going to lead to more long-term nurturing.
That future self
stuff
will be well nourished by what current self is doing.
Right.
This is a good moment where I like for us to use those words we said in the beginning, self-support and self-strengthening. I think that also helps us lean away from self-indulgence. Not that I have any problem with self-indulgence, just have a problem if we do self-indulgence and call it self-care because it doesn't work. Right. So self-indulgence is going to be something that is probably not with a benefit to future self. Yes. Future self's going to be a little mad. They're going to pick up the pieces from whatever I'm doing right now. Sometimes I'm willing to make that trade, but that isn't self-care or self-support or self-strengthening.
Got it. So self-indulgence being that you're gratifying like an immediate or an instant need, and it's gonna be pretty short term, the effects of it, like overeating. Binge eating, binge watching a show, overspending, things like that.
7 vodka tonics.
Right. Yeah.
Which present self might think's a really good idea, especially on the 3rd vodka tonic. Mm-hmm. Present self starts thinking that 7 of them is a good idea, but future self, well, she's asleep then.
Right.
I guess.
Right. Until the next morning.
Right. When she has to pick up your pieces.
That's right.
Yeah. Although I will tell you sometimes, maybe almost every day, I have to have this very short conversation with my future self, like tomorrow self, which is like, who's going to take a shower? Like, is it going to be me? Am I going to give a gift to you so that you do not have to shower in the morning? Or it's like, I cannot do it. I have to ask you for a favor, which is, I'm just going to trust you to handle the shower in the morning. Tomorrow self.
I'm laughing because that has never popped into my head before, but I hear you. Yes. And I'm sure that's popped into my husband's head before. Okay. So, before we move on, let's kind of reframe, summarize what we said before in relation to this. Why is the self-awareness, self-compassion piece so important to the self-care piece?
Because otherwise it doesn't work.
Because
if you don't know what you need or what works for you, you're going to spend a lot of energy not getting anything back. Maybe that's the self-awareness piece. The self-compassion piece is going to be if you do things without valuing the present self and the future self. Present self and future self is going to pay for you not valuing instead of.
Excellent. Mixed with the other piece that we haven't talked a whole lot about, but this isn't going to work well for you if you guilt and shame yourself while you're doing something that's supposed to be a bucket filler. That.
I really do. Did we talk about why I like to use the word bucket instead of cup?
No.
I just think cups are too small.
I'm in agreement.
And I think it limits people, and we can, but maybe we shouldn't talk about spoon theory. But spoons are really small.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a way actually sometimes that people limit what they could give themselves.
Love that. So, listeners, as you're thinking about your self-care and your self-compassion leading to self-care, think about filling a bucket. Not a spoon.
Like a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket. Maybe.
That.
Okay, we didn't come back to boundaries, did we? I said we would and we didn't. So
let me talk about boundaries.
All right, let me do that. It could be its own session, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So what's the most important thing about boundaries here? You do not live in a vacuum. So your self-care is always taking place in the context of other things. You have a bunch of stuff of your own, that values hierarchy. You have things that matter to you. You have the work stuff and relationship stuff and health stuff and all that. And then pressures from other people. So boundaries are not just about saying no to stuff, although they are also about saying no. That's maybe thing number one I want to say about it. They're also about saying yes. There's a parenting guru. Her name is Dr. Becky Kennedy. I agree with almost everything she says, which is very rare for me. So there you go. You can look her up. Who talks about boundaries with kids in a way that I like. I really like the beginning of, where she says, don't make a boundary you expect somebody else to hold for you. I think that's how boundaries are happening in the world right now and on the internet and stuff right now is like, I'm setting a boundary and you can't ask me to do stuff or you can, no, the other person's never going to be able to do it, right? They can't probably even hold their own boundaries, right? So set a boundary, but it's a boundary for you. It's what you will do. It's what the other person can expect from you. And sometimes that's a no. Sometimes that is, I won't work on the podcast after 10 o'clock any day. Okay, that's not really for you. I mean, it's good information for you to have maybe, but it's for me to hold. I'm not saying now it's your responsibility to not text me after 10 o'clock about the podcast. It's my responsibility to not work on the podcast after 10 o'clock.
Great example.
The other thing, which is saying yes to stuff, the thing I think the way that I want to talk about that is to say when you are saying yes to something, give it as a gift. Don't loan anything, ever. Loaning is bad boundaries.
Was that Kennedy or was that
No,
Ellis?
That was me.
That's so good.
Don't loan stuff. Don't loan money. Y'all don't. Especially to your family. If they need money and you have money to give them, give it. Give what you can cheerfully give, right? Because loaning is it just digs out a place inside you to build resentment and just starts filling it up.
Yes.
Right? And then the best thing that can possibly happen is your loan is repaid. And then you're kind of like back to baseline. What is that? That's not the way we want to live. So give what you can cheerfully give. And so money, sure. But like, is that time? Is it a commitment to come to your party? Is it a commitment to do the dishes? Is it anything I can give? I set as a boundary, this is what I can give cheerfully. And it protects me from resentment.
You're looking at me, and I think it's because I came in today talking about playing golf with my husband. I really was thinking about all the other things I need to do or should be doing. And yeah.
And you gave that gift, but
I did. But you have to, I liked how you said do it with I think you said a cheerful heart.
Cheerfully.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I got there. I got into it.
Mm-hmm.
But starting out and on hole number 9, I was not feeling that.
I like one tiny thing you just said in there too, which is after I got into it, there was a time when it was feeling good to me. Might be something that I don't think that we have addressed with self-care yet, which is once you know yourself and once you know generally what works for you, which again won't be the same thing all the time, every day, in every season of your life, at every minute, right? But once you generally know, it's also okay sometimes to do those things out of trust.
Yeah.
Right? Like present self is not feeling like this is going to be that helpful, but it usually is. Can I invest in myself in this way because it usually works out, and see if that catches up with me? Sometimes that's all present self can do, is kind of step out in faith that self-care is worth it.
Yes, that. Okay, so think, oh, by the way, this term, I just have to say this term because it was something that was on my brain earlier when you were talking about it. I've always been a FOMO person. And this term I just learned not too long ago of JOMO. I didn't know that was a thing. The joy of missing out. That goes along with boundary setting too, and self-care, right? No makeup day, joy of missing out.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's something in the middle of that, by the way, too, which I'm only bringing up because I have a little one who has a lot of FOMO also.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did some real thinking about what do we do about that? I mean, it does hurt, if you think that friends are doing things that you wish that you would be doing, or usually this is happening because in your values hierarchy, there are many things that you might want to choose, but you just can't. And so the best kind of, I don't know if solution is the right word, but the best thing we sort of came to together was make sure that what you are doing while you have FOMO is incredibly valuable to you. If you are having FOMO, but the thing you're doing is sort of like sitting and scrolling, I mean, no, you did that wrong. Like,
Yes.
Go do the other thing, right?
It's a perfect example. I like it. Okay, so listeners, please think about these two items. Number one, how do you speak to yourself? And think about what you value as you dig into more self-awareness that leads to more self-care.
One more tiny thing about self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we stink at it. So it might be that sometimes you need to trust the people who love you. Sometimes they definitely know, especially you get far enough down that stress cycle. You're not really maybe having the capacity to be really self-aware. If there are people in your life who know you and care about you, could you just listen to them? Because they probably do have your best interest at heart, even when you don't. When you have put yourself on the bottom of the values hierarchy, or when you are so overwhelmed that you can't figure out what would even be good, maybe step out in faith with these people who care about you.
I think that's so important. Okay, are we ready for the crown jewels?
Let's do some.
Crown jewel number one, for self-care, you must have self-awareness. Or until you do, check in with somebody. Check in with other people that are close to you that might give you some counsel in that area.
And crown jewel number two, for self-care, you must have self-compassion. Don't be afraid of the word. It's okay. It just means you're a human person.
So thank you for listening today and tuning in. We're going to talk more about self-care in the next 2 episodes, and we hope you'll join us.
Like, subscribe, share, follow, that stuff.
And please send in your questions to us, anything specific that you have about self-care.
Rich thoughts, poor jokes at gmail.com. We made that easy for you. Next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Rich Thoughts, Poor Jokes. We hope today's episode offered insight or possibility, a new perspective on your mental wealth journey. Tune in next week for more strategies to drive success. Please consider subscribing or sharing this episode with someone else, because your mental wealth matters, and a few rich thoughts and poor jokes can help you live with abundance.